All right. Happy Friday, everyone. Welcome to another. I think it's the fourth episode of this series of LinkedIn Live drop-in sessions where Liora and I answer questions on the spot, but also share a little bit how was our week, what things we found that were interesting, and also what we are being asked in our different meetings with clients, with other experts, and we want to share all that back to you. How are you doing today, Liora?
Fabulous. It's another autumn day in Brussels. It's raining. And so that's a perfect day to dive into the world of AI and LinkedIn, which I love. Although LinkedIn has been terribly buggy today. Let me know in the comments if you see LinkedIn working well for you, or if you keep seeing white screens as well, because that would make me feel better knowing that it's not just my LinkedIn that's boycotting me today. Let me know in the comments if you're watching, where you're watching from, and if LinkedIn is giving you trouble today. And today we're doing something fun. We're going to go and do the regular things. I know there's a lot of fun things on LinkedIn, fun things, new things, terrible things, which we'll get to in a second. But we're also going to give you a mini workshop on how to create visuals with AI and Canva. And Sebastian, you're going to show that live today, aren't you?
Yes, this is the part that I enjoy the most, showing step by step how easy it is, even for someone who doesn't have prior knowledge. If you know how to type in your computer, then you know how to create content. So that's the idea, and that's what we are going to be doing today. We have a few people showing, a regular, Luis Carlos, of course.
Luis.
Hello, from Brazil. Beautiful connection, beautiful flats right there. And also Doron from Amsterdam. And Akshay from India, as well as Kushi from India. Hello everyone.
Hello everyone.
And I think one of them already agree with you. So notifications are disappearing. Things are, what is going on? What's going on? Maybe too many changes in the algorithm at the same time, no?
Yes, so that's something else. I just have, like, whenever I'm trying to load a post, my whole LinkedIn just turns blank all morning. Already last night, I was posting until very late. Everything just turns blank the whole time. So this is, bugging. Images upload on mobile, Louis is saying as well. Louis, by the way, can you tell us, do you go by Carlos or do you go by Louis? Because you have a lot of different names. I'd like to know if I'm addressing you correctly. Yes, and then he said that notifications are disappearing as well. It's also, we've all seen that when you are writing a very good post, you've just finished it, then puff, it crashes, right? So that you should never just write within the browser. You should do that somewhere else. But sometimes you're just finishing something and that's so painful. I see you've noticed that as well.
And also with the mentioning people, before you could go to a different screen and come back, and the name of the person will still be there. And now it replaces it with null. And yeah, it was very inconvenient, because one of the things that maybe we're starting to talk about the topic today, which is how to continue beat this ever-changing algorithm. One of the things that you recommended last week was you gotta tag people in your post. You need to recognize what they've done and share it with your public. Instead of reposting, you need to take a screenshot and then share it, tagging them. But of course, now perhaps the algorithm is having way too many changes, right? Probably that's the reason. Let's hope.
So let's dive into the mini workshop. I'm excited. Or do you want me to go through some of the slides first, Sebastian?
What I would say is it's better to start with the context of why we're doing the workshop, which I think we explained very clearly. Many of us have seen our impressions down, and we are trying to come up with one of the most engaging features on LinkedIn, which is carousels. So probably we try to cover that, and then with that context clear and that need clear, then we can apply that theory into something practical.
Okay, so let me dive into a question I get almost daily from friends, from strangers, from clients. Why are my impressions down? Can you help me? And they expect me to say, sure, I'll give you my DNA methodology. Here's a strategy, here's a price. But then I go to check out their profile, and almost without exception, I see three things. I see them reposting a lot. If they already, some people don't even post at all, so it's clear why they don't have any engagement. But I see reposts. I see very boring visuals. I see very little personality. Now, obviously, if you have those three things, you're not going to be successful on LinkedIn. It's very simple, right? And often it's a lot of company organizational repos, or you work somewhere and you just keep reposting what that does, what they do. It's quite safe. And it's almost like you're afraid to show your personality on LinkedIn. On Twitter, you would always say, "This is my opinion, and not my employer's," as though you'd have to hide, and you use jargon, and it just doesn't work on LinkedIn anymore. Only a few years ago, what would work is just posting, just showing up, as AI would say, showing up, right? Like just posting regularly, because most people wouldn't be posting. It's still the case. Before it was maybe less than 1%. Now it's 2% of the people posting, but it's still a lot of people. There's a lot of content. If you want to stand out and you're just going to randomly repost or post something that sounds very blah, it's the same as everybody else, the LinkedIn is not going to show it to anybody, and people that do see it are not going to find it very interesting. They're just going to ignore it. They're not going to click on it. They see a visual that looks AI or stock image generated. Why would they do anything with this post? There's much better content out there, or even worse, they might be so bored with all that content, they just might ignore LinkedIn altogether, thinking that's all you can find on LinkedIn. It's simply not true, So instead, you need to go away from random repost, generic content, AI generated content. I'm not saying don't use AI for inspiration, for brainstorming, for all sorts of things, especially Perplexity is a great tool to find all sorts of things, do a lot of research. And as we will see in a second, it's great for infographic generation or even carousels, but not just for coming up with things that sound good but are not even your opinion. I mean, we've said this over and over again. I don't need to repeat that for you. But so what does help LinkedIn to understand what you bring, what your unique value is first you thinking, what do I really want to say? What is really different about me, to define sort of your DNA profile, and then bring that to LinkedIn in a consistent manner. And that's what I try to define in this AI assisted infographic or visual that I posted on LinkedIn a couple of days ago, so you can see that if you're consistent, if you define first what you bring to the platform, and then you're consistent about posting that, and you adapt your entire profile accordingly, then people start following you. They understand what you're bringing, and the algorithm understands that as well. And how do you then create an infographic that looks like this, but also infographics that always look the same way? So it's because if you just say to ChatGPT, here's a topic, could you create an infographic? Then, of course, all the infographics are going to look differently. That's what we'll talk about next.
And before we do that, I also want to stress that it could be very overwhelming for the average user on LinkedIn to catch up with all these changes, but also try to mark every single thing on the to-do list. Because there are like a lot of things to consider. So I also want to stress that we all, like Liora and I, we don't have a lot of time to spare, definitely. And you should also try to look for continuous improvement, like try to make small changes every day, every week, So maybe one week you will focus more on revisiting your profile. Another week you try if you are able to create, or if you are good into breaking down complex topics into digestible content pills. That's a skill. That's that. Some people can do it, some people can know. Or maybe your audience and where your value is in more long form content that actually has substance, and that means you can post once a week or twice a month. And so I want to highlight also that each one of us is different. That's why we're on LinkedIn to hear and to benefit from people with different profiles, and you have a space on LinkedIn. I think that's the message. You, as a professional, have a space and you can feel it, and it doesn't have to be the way Liora or I do it. It's gotta be your own way. All right. Before we do this exercise, we're doing this exercise gonna be very fast and just to showcase how we think about it. But in reality, if we are doing this with a client of ours, we would spend significantly more time. And the second thing that I wanted to ask you is if you're interested in a specific topic. I have one on my own, but if you are interested in a very specific topic, please post it on the comments, and we can do it a little bit more in a more spontaneous way. And maybe we can do something together that I'm happy to share back to you if that's what if that's what you what you need. All right. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to open our 3 tools here. Can you see my screen? Can I confirm you can see my screen?
Not yet.
Not yet? Okay. There you go. Now
Yes.
it should be possible. Perfect. So we're going to open 3 tools. The first one is going to be Canva. The second one is going to be Claude. And the third one is going to be a normal, in my case, Google browser. Now, I'm going to move this to my small screen so that I can see you and I can read. Do we have a proposal for a topic coming online? Now is the time. If not, I have my own.
And while we wait for that, I want to stress that we're using Claude, but if you are a ChatGPT user, if you're a Copilot user, if you are a Perplexity user, all those LLMs work. I know there's a lot of talk about Claude these days, but Perplexity, for example, has built-in Claude. So all of these tools work for this purpose. Okay, so don't worry if you are not in the business of spending all your money on Claude tokens. No.
I can also say if you want that we do something very specific, or like we use a specific tool, drop it, because chances are that I am paying for the license, right? I pay for the license of all the main tools like Mistral, I pay for Gemini, I pay for, I pay for all of them because I provide trainings on pretty much all of them. And to be honest, once you do one, you can do the rest. It's very easy. I'm gonna use Claude for 2 reasons. One, yesterday or the day before, they launched their new model, Fable 5, which we can try today. And because I overall think it gives better output for what we are about to do. All right. I'm gonna pick up a topic that I am very familiar with, which is copyright and in the age of AI. All right. So what I want to do, for example, there is a labeling, copyright, and let's say that we are gonna be looking for the new Commission, European Commission Code of Practice on how to label AI-generated content. All right, this was out yesterday. I think I included in one of my slides later, so we can talk a little bit more about it. What is interesting? There are many things interesting. One is that now there are some icons that you will start seeing that the European Commission recommends in a voluntary way that you start using whenever you use AI, and depending how much you are using AI. But let's say that I now want to share with my audience what is the content of this code of practice. And again, I'm going to do it for speed, but I will actually read it, spend the time understanding what it is, etc. The first step is going to be downloading the actual transparency code that looks like this, right? You have, it's a 38 pages document, lots of information, lots of text. I love it because that's when LLMs like Claude or ChatGPT or whichever you are using, they perform the best, right? A lot of information. We love that. And then the first thing that we are going to do is we're going to bring this to our LLM of choice. And we're going to say, I am a non-expert on AI, and I want to understand step by step what are the consequences of this legislation for me, of this new recommendation for me. I create AI generated content to sell my training courses, right? So how does this new regulation impacts, let's use 4.8. I've been very, very active today. And then I'm gonna do the same with ChatGPT. And in ChatGPT, I'm gonna use also amongst all the models that we have, I'm gonna use not the instant, I want to use the thinking, and within the thinking, you can use a standard or extended. Now, for those who are not familiar with this type of models, this means that instead of giving you a quick answer, the models, if you choose thinking, either standard or extended, these systems are going to work harder for you. They are going to build more complex thinking processes to give you the answer that you need, right? So again, we have these systems working for us. We can also use, if we want, Gemini and repeat the same thing, right? What we will see is that, of course, those systems will do a very good job at picking up a source of knowledge that is true, that contains the truth. This code of conduct is the actual code of conduct. I am not asking this system to review a code of conduct or find it online. When you do that, sometimes it can, by mistake, pick up another code of conduct from a few years ago. So it's really important that you give this input to your chat, and it's going to do a pretty good job at generating the information. What we're going to do now is we're going to ask, in this case, I'm going to use ChatGPT to turn this into a presentation that I can use as a carousel in Canva and post it ultimately on LinkedIn. At this point, Liora, I think it's really important that you also tell me what are your best practices to producing carousels on LinkedIn. Tell me how a good carousel on LinkedIn should look like.
Yeah, best practice is that it should be between 7 and 10 pages. There should not be too much text on one slide, knowing that many people are looking at these things on their phones and not on their computers. So there's some contradiction here that if you create an infographic, there's a lot of content, and people are also looking at it on their phone. So people are like, how do these things coincide? But for carousels, not too much content, big headings, not too much subcontext. So people want to be able to slide through it. it's almost like a little, and there needs to be storytelling. And the latest best practices for carousels is that you really tell a story. So it's not just facts. You want to do storytelling in your carousels. That's a change compared to maybe 1.5 years ago, where factual carousels. So you want to explain to people what has changed, why does this matter to you, what kind of impact could it have if you don't follow these new AI Act rules or whatever it is that we're covering here. And what is most important is that there is a either very strong slogan on the front page that really captures attention, or a very strong, not AI looking image on the first page. You're turning it into. We could have actually recorded it.
We want to do it. I want to say how easy it is, because as you hear, you paste it. There is really no secret these days in how to produce this.
And and what you can do, guys, is you can just leave a voice message, and you don't have to type everything,
exactly.
Right? You can talk to.
The next step of laziness, right? It says just don't even type. Just, as I say, the format is PPT, and then it's important I want those pixels, right? Yeah. Very important to ask these systems to prepare the output in the way that you want and with quality. And then we're gonna leave it think for a while, all right? At which this point, since this may take probably a couple of minutes, we can, for example, I can show you what I have done over the last few days. For example, I have done corporate presentations. Let me see if I can, or some of them I posted on, even on my LinkedIn. Some of them worked, some others didn't work. So using this system, I was able to produce some content. So this one is one. So I use this one, an infographic, perhaps too much text heavy. I created, for example, that one, which is I fed the cloud with the people who are advising AI, advising the European Union on AI, and automatically I only changed like a few things, but it told me the organizations they work for. It identified that there is a Nobel Prize award. That's the Turing Award winner. It's a Nobel Prize for AI, Joshua Bengio. It told me a little bit about who wrote the specific rule books. It's telling me how the EU is looking at AI. So it's no longer about the technology itself. It's really looking at cybersecurity. It's looking at economics, right? And in the end, it added this thing about, I said, it's important that people save it, because I follow Liora, and she says people have to share it. And it created this title.
Yeah, they should save it. A couple of good questions. And first of all, I want to stress one important thing. Check what the output is. Now, if you don't know the document, then it might be difficult for you to check. But of course, it is important that if you put something out under your name, then it's important, or you should specify, this is not my analysis. I use Claude for this. So, you should add some caveat to it. Luis has a good question. We should call him Luis, by the way. He says, he asks you, Sebastian, why are you using a square shape and not a rectangular shape for your carousels, which I think is a good question.
Well, I think this format works as well on LinkedIn and also on Instagram, where I think I should be posting more. And then this is also the format that when you go on Canva and chose a LinkedIn post, is the format recommended by Canva.
Yeah, and that's a very good point. I think LinkedIn's recommendations for Canva's recommendations for LinkedIn are not correct.
Okay. Yeah. There you go. I learned something.
Yeah, so I don't understand that, because it's such an important platform, but whenever I follow their instructions, even for the banner, I don't think it's correct. So I don't know what they're doing, but it's clearly not their most important platform, because they don't seem to be following best practices. But it's not bad, square format. It's just that if people are on their phone and you have a rectangular format, like so a longer format, like Louise is saying, you take up more space. More space is people stay on your post longer, so it means more chance that they will linger and actually click. Square is shorter, so they have, you have less chance to capture them, to capture and hold on to them. So yeah. Okay. And then of course, we spoke about, I think we spoke about this in one of the previous session. If you can pick your own color scheme and be consistent about that, so people start connecting you with, because I see a lot of people in Brussels always choosing that blue and yellow. And yes, it's a topic relating to the EU, but it's not relating to you. So people won't associate it with you. They won't recognize, this is a post of Sebastian, who I really trust. So if you can pick a color that fits your organization, fits you as a person, then that will help people to understand this is good content. I should pause. Of course, it fits them. It makes sense, but that might not be a bad thing to try and develop for your personal content. But look how great this looks. This is how it came out of Claude, yeah? You're on mute, Sebastian.
I was saying exactly right. I download it directly, as you can see. Those are like the actual slides. And then what you said about the color is really important, but also that you put it at the beginning. But also don't worry, because you can then, once you're in Canva, you can, to an extent, play with the colors, right? It will always be better that you use the color from the onset. But the cool thing about Canva now is that, of course, this is an image, but you can turn this image into different layers. You click on the image, you click on edit, and then you click on magic layers. What this will do, and then you can do this, for example, for several, what this will do is that it will convert this content into a specific elements, design, text, etc., that you now can change, decide where you put. Now you can change the colors, etc. Right?
And guys, this is mind-blowing, because very often AI does a very good, maybe even 90% of what you want, but then to try and get it to exactly how you want it. Can you move it a little? First of all, it takes a lot on the environment, and trying to go back and forth is not that easy. I mean, I'm trying to teach people how to do it, but it's not so easy. If you can just upload it to Canva, then you can change it to exactly, maybe you don't like the stars, maybe you want the button in a different way, and then you can just finalize it, and it's so fast. So this is maybe you can show them again how to do it, because I get a lot of questions, but how do I change it? So you upload it, you upload your files, and then you click on what, Sebastian? Again, I don't hear you.
We download our files, and in this case, we're gonna get the files from here in probably a minute. And what you do is, there are two ways, right? Firstly, you can create the presentation directly in Canva. You click, for example, on social media, and then you say, I want to do a LinkedIn post. Now we know with the ground dimensions. And
it's not wrong. Right? It's different, can also be good. It's
not optimized, let's say, like not optimized for all the devices in which your audience will be engaging. Mm-hmm. And then these slides that you download literally from your Claude or ChatGPT account, you drop it. You just make sure that they fit, which they will, because we said that the format should be in line. And when you are ready, you click on the image. So you are on the image, click on the menu, just click on the image, and the menu that pops up above, you click on edit, and then you click on magic layers. And Canva will do the work by itself. And voila.
Someone's asking, is ChatGPT not so loved anymore? It's still the most used and most popular large language model. But of course, as new systems grow, they gain popularity. These things always go in waves. Claude is having a particular moment, but in terms of user data, we see Copilot being the most popular in organizations because they are on the Microsoft environment, and ChatGPT is still most popular among normal users.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would agree. I think Claude is having its own moment right now, and for many tasks, it seems to be working better for me right now. That's why I keep always at least the two leading ones, either ChatGPT or Claude, and Canva to me is a must-have. Even in Canva, if you, I think we touched upon this in one of our first lives, LinkedIn lives. Now Canva has like a really interesting AI functionality that you simply say, I want to do a presentation about an ice cream shop in Alicante. This is my dream. This is, I'm gonna share it again. For some reason, it was removed. There you go. There you go. This is my dream, by the way, to own an ice cream shop in Alicante, Spain, and
Really?
I need funding. Yeah, because I said I can work for the European Intellectual Office, which gives me the benefits and the perks of a new job. But then I can walk to the beach after my work is over. So that to me is, and then I will have an ice cream shop as a side business. Yeah, that's my job. That's my.
Sounds good.
All right, and then you will see how very quickly we are gonna have an output, right? ChatGPT, I think we gave it like a very design is ready here. Okay, so ice cream proposal, right? So here we have it, and
Oh, you're
then
Alfredo now. He makes you Alfredo. Did you see that?
it made me
Alfredo Torres.
Alfredo. Exactly. Yeah. There you go. Those are our flavors. I mean, I can actually, I mean, instead of doing one by one, I apply the old pages, and this is. I would probably change the picture, and I would increase this. I need more money than this. Way more money than this. But anyway, there you go. Those are tools that exist in Canva that are improving little by little. And over to you. I think I took my space today, but I hope that was helpful.
Yeah.
And hopefully now you start using all the information you have on your chats with Claude and with ChatGPT or whatever you use, and turn them into content for your audience. Whenever this is ready, I'll let you know, Liora, and then we can see the final output. All right.
Yeah, just one question, another question from Luis. He always has the best questions. He asks you, how do you turn images into videos?
Oh, okay. I have a workshop starting at 1 today about this.
Can you join?
Yeah, everyone can join. Always the first workshop that you do with our community is for free. And if you write to me, I'll drop the link. So how to turn images into videos. Okay. This is really interesting. Doing right now all the and actually I can share some of the slides from the actual workshop, just to encourage you to join. So right now, the first thing you need to do when you think about image and video, I'm gonna share my screen now. Yep. Is firstly, like for LLMs, there is models from the United States, from China, from Europe, etc. I think it's Chinese ones. My advice is always to, have some ethical considerations. But to be honest, Sedance, which you probably hear a lot about, is Chinese. So still, we have some European ones, Stable Diffusion, Flux. They are really good ones. And then, of course, we have the American ones, GPT, Nano Banana, VO3 for video, etc. Right? What is the important thing about an image? How to turn images, into videos. You can use the perplexity for videos. It's called Higgs field. Is this? Let me see if I can zoom in. But it's called Higgs field. I'll share it in the comments. And here, basically, you have all the access to all the models that I said before. You have Sedance here. Sedance is the Chinese. Kling is Chinese too. Sora, etc. Right? And really, these tools, they really allow you to upload. I would say the key for a good video is good images. So if you create good images, then you can, for example, I'm going to show this that I did with my daughter. Okay. So we said, I asked her to think of a story. And so the story was that there was this bunny that found a fox, and then she would jump and hide in a tree, right? So we created this with ChatGPT. And then, for some reason, it's the sharing the screen. Let me put it back. Okay. So in order to do a good video, you need to have really good pictures. And this is what I work on with my daughter. So this is a very short story. Okay. And then what you do is you upload the picture and you prompt. You prompt and say, what do you want to happen? And so what we said is, this is the final one. What we said is animate the picture, like make the transitions from one to the other. And then at the end, I added, there's going to be fireworks. Okay. So in the end, what we did, we animated these 4 images.
That's amazing. So good.
All right.
I love it. And by the way, someone just joined and said that they only joined just now and asked if we're recording the sessions. And I just want to remind everyone that not just this session, but all previous sessions can be found on our LinkedIn. The last 3 on mine, the first one on Sebastian's LinkedIn, and you can just go and watch them. We love if you join us live because it gives you a chance to ask questions, which we will try to answer on the spot. And even if we don't, we'll try to answer in the chat afterwards. But if you don't, you can always watch them later. And we really love it if you do that. We spend both of us, we give a lot of workshop, which people pay good money for. So this is your chance to get our brains for free. So take advantage of that, watch the sessions, and, why wouldn't you? This is your chance. I love this, Sebastian. And everyone who would like to know how to turn images into videos, there is a session at 1:00. You might still be able to join if you're fast and register, because maybe you can add some information quickly after the session on how people can do that. Sebastian. All right, let's go. Let's wrap up this part of the session. Very interesting. and go to our regular program. We spoke about why impressions are down, although my impressions are up. So follow what I'm preaching, and also be careful who you follow and what kind of things you're doing, because there was this person, and I'm not going to name and shame them, on the next slide that you just showed us, Sebastian, that said, if you download comment ghost because I know what the checklist is. Well, this whole commenting thing where people all start, with this clickbait tactic, that is actually one of the things that and I mentioned this last week, that LinkedIn is actively trying to ban right now. So a person that tells you they know how to, and by the way, they're showing that their impressions are down as well. Another not a very good sign. If they tell you they know how to, the LinkedIn algorithm works, but then they use clickbait tactics, maybe not the best person to follow. I found that quite funny. All right. Next page. Yes.
I want to ask you about this one.
Yes.
Was it really true? Okay.
This is really true. I just changed the picture to another person, and I didn't include the name of that person on the left. This is a person that for the last 2.5 years, all that they've been posting is that they're open to work, that they're desperate, that they want a job. Please help them to find a job. And this particular post, but they're posting this every day, got 595 likes, was reposted 132 times. And my question is, how is this working for you? Clearly, it's not working. And I see this so many times. First of all, stop with the banner. Not working for you. I've said this for many years. It's like going out on a date with a date me hat on, or a open to marriage cap on. How would you date that person? Would you feel like he's a catch, or she? Probably not. And also, what works is if you position yourself as an expert, if you share your knowledge freely, do lives like we do, share your unique brain, share how you're different, how you're fun. Most of us share that unique knowledge that you possess because you possess unique knowledge. Keep up to speed, do all free YouTube courses, and share everything that you're learning. That is how people find you. That's how the algorithms find you, because you know what the algorithm is going to find about this open to work person. Was a man, by the way, middle-aged man, not a young, beautiful woman like this one. You know what they're going to find now? They're only going to find someone that's looking for work. That's not what you want to be found for. You want to be found for the themes and the topics that the person is recruiting for. So build your expertise around the job that you're looking for. I cannot stress this enough. This is so important. And even if you're not looking for a new job, things are changing. It's a very volatile market. People are being fired even when they didn't expect it. And if you have a strong personal brand to fall back on, this is not a problem. Sebastian just left us. I hope he is coming back. Sebastian, come back and join us and show us the next page, please. Yes, he's back. That's good. So also, the New York Times is now writing about LinkedIn, and it's asking, but basically saying in the article that we're entering the post-cringe era, which is amazing. And it also says, and it's quoting somebody, it's really, really hard to attract people when you sound like a corporate drone, which is what I was saying at the beginning of the session, that you should stop, speaking in jargon. You should stop thinking that you can be yourself on LinkedIn and just show your personality. That is really going to work. And so that's basically what I wanted to say about that. Do you agree, or do you still think that LinkedIn is cringe? Let me know. Is LinkedIn cringe, or do you find LinkedIn fun? And if you don't find it fun, are you following the right people? And if you find people fun, tag them as well. I have so many questions. So many questions for you.
Talking about tagging. Let's talk about this now.
Yes. So Evan Lemos posted about the AI experts, only men in the EU bubble. And then a couple of people started tagging me. You didn't, Sebastian. That's disappointing. But
I know you also did AI workshops. You do everything. I have to
I
say.
do everything.
That's my
Yes, I
bad.
do.
Yeah.
Actually, I do a lot of AI workshops, AI workflow workshops, AI for communicators, AI for public affairs, and I do AI visibility workshops. I do a lot about generative engine optimization. That's what I did. What I started doing. One of the first people to do it, I think, in the AI in the bubble. So lots of people started tagging me because LinkedIn is just a niche that I chose because I feel like you should choose a niche on LinkedIn. Anyhow, then I noticed that even after I was added, there were no other women on this list. So I posted about this today. I cannot believe that is true. I think women may not be speaking out. I think women, we have this feeling that we should know everything before we have a right to speak up. But AI, it's something you're learning while doing. Everybody's learning while doing. So that doesn't mean you're not an expert. It doesn't mean you're not ahead of the curve, right? So this is my call to women. Tag yourself in my post. Then we're going to have lunch, and then I'm going to help you build your visibility around this topic, because we also need women teaching men and women. We need to, I hate this list. I mean, I believe everyone's equal. I don't care principally, but this just seems a bit out of balance. This is like the LinkedIn version of a manual. I mean, come on, guys. And then this was the post of the month. If I see one more post with an agree at the end, I might just leave LinkedIn forever. Agree? But I think that's fun. I like that about LinkedIn. So one more thing, and then I'll hand back to you, Sebastian. There's a new feature. Let me know if you already have it. If you have it, comment with a GIF. Is that you can now comment with a GIF. It was possible to post GIFs and to comment with GIFs, but it was very difficult. You had to download them and upload them. Now LinkedIn just, you can see here, you can just choose, instead of an emoji or an image, you can just choose the GIF function. And I spent all last night posting GIFs on people's profile. I think they found it very strange and not adult-like of me, but I was so happy about that. So, this was a GIF I posted yesterday. So if you enjoyed it, if you think it's terrible, let me know. And please comment on all my posts with GIFs, because I'm enjoying it, and it might not last for very long, but I do for the moment. Do you have this? Did you have this feature already, Sebastian? And have you used it?
I haven't checked, but I would love to. I'm a big believer in the meme culture to break the seriousness and to show a hidden side of you, right? Like, I think a meme tells a lot about a person, right? I would be using all the time memes from The Office, which tells you a lot about my age. It tells you a lot about how I view the world, probably how good or bad of a boss I am.
Yeah, love it.
And to wrap up, talking about the weekend, I am very excited to test the Fable 5, and which is the latest model, not only for images and video, but also language model of Claude. So I'm going to be testing it and probably spending some money on it. Are you also going to do the same? I heard you will, no?
Yeah, absolutely. That's the thing. I have to constantly test everything, and that's why I don't have a moment to spare, but I'm loving it. So let's report back next week about this, maybe. Huh?
Nice. And I anticipated this in the part of the workshop, but important. If you want to start complying with the legislation that will come into force in August, you can start following these labeling guidelines and icons that the European Commission has proposed just yesterday. I am going to start doing it. I need to understand the difference between the basic icon and the partially AI modified one. So probably that's some work that I need to do to see how I translate it in practice. But I think it is important. I think it's about how you build trust. If you know your audience knows that you are using this technology in a transparent way, I think it adds some value. What about you? Are you gonna also think about voluntarily using those icons from now on?
No.
No.
I wanted to answer some of the questions in the chat. I'll think about it. Actually, that's the correct answer.
Yeah.
By the way, Christina says she's no gifts. Yesterday I noticed that underneath some posts I couldn't use gifts. I couldn't add gifts in the comments, but then under other posts I could. So it's worthwhile just to check it, and you might see them show up somewhere. Just check whenever you are able to add a comment, if you're able to add a GIF. I bet that it might be slowly popping up because it has been, or it is being rolled out across Europe. Let me see if there's some other questions before we close up. Akshay is very happy with the. Wait, yeah, let's do that one.
Well, I think we sort of answered this, right? I think carousels, if done as Liora was explaining with all these tips, I think they can be also very fun, very like a really nice way to keep people engaged. Infographics, I've seen them also going viral if, again, the reliance on text is not so much. But yeah, I would say try, see what works for you. Each audience likes different things, I would say.
Yeah, we see in terms of data that we're now having the infographics having a moment, whereas carousels had a moment more towards the end of last year, or for a full year, I would say. But both can still work if you do them well. And so if you find one easier than another, then go full in on that. Or ideally, try to do a bit of a mix so people don't get too bored with your content. And try to throw in some video as well, because LinkedIn is pushing it so hard. It's not performing very well at the moment, but who knows? Are there fines in the future for not using the logo? Yes, that's a very good question. What do you think?
Right now, it's voluntary, so no fine. But as of August, I think 6th of August, I think is the date, or no, 2nd of August, the new legislation is gonna be published. There has been an open consultation about this topic for a month or two. I submitted some proposals. So if the European Commission EU AI office is watching, hey, it's Sebastian Rodriguez, that's me. What I said that there shouldn't be fines, and I said that only we should limit this to the cases where there is like a clear intent in misleading someone, and especially if that misleading has to do with democracy, with a political candidate, etc. For everything else, I suggested that there shouldn't be fines, because it's just adding more compliance and more cost on an already struggling SME sector that we have in Europe.
Yeah, and that's actually why I said no, because you made such a good point. When I brought this up, I think last week, that it's co-creation, it's our content, they help execute it. So what value does it bring? It just made people question what you post. For example, that infographic that I showed at the beginning of the session, this is my content. It's visualized. It doesn't matter if one person in my team visualizes it, or if I have, if I decide what should be on it, and it's ChatGPT that assists me with it. It's just going to make people question if the content is valid, and there's nothing on this visual that's not valid. I do research about this all the time. Why? What are we achieving with the execution? So we also need to determine who should do it. Is it large corporations? Is it, as you say, small SMEs? Is it individuals? And there's a lot of more important things that they should be monitoring, like death threats, hate speech, taking people's accounts and duplicating them, impersonating others. I think there are a lot more urgent things, but it's just me.
Completely agree.
Right. So what is it? Maybe we should
make a
logo made by a human. Yeah. Kind of the same thing, right?
Yeah,
but if people are doing this now at the bottom of their post, they write like human created.
Yeah. I mean, even if you hire a graphic designer today, all the graphic design tools that we have, even the subtitles you put on your videos, those are using AI. So at which point do you say modified by AI? That to me, it's the problematic, right? Like to me, and I think I will know. I know my audience, and I will know when I want to tell my audience when I should label or not. The other day I was doing a workshop with an NGO, incredibly aware and very, very on top of all the things around copyright, around impact, climate impact, etc. So I label everything because I knew they would welcome that. But other audiences, maybe not. So I think I will still trust my input, but let's see, whilst we're on holidays, what the European Commission is gonna come up with. So that's we need to stay to watch it closely.
Okay. Thank you for everyone who watched today. If you have any questions or things you'd like us to cover in the next session, you can always let us know below. We'll be following up throughout the day with the things that are still being said. And we hope to see you again next week. We have a great rainy weekend. From next week, it's going to be hot again. Next Friday, it's going to be hot summer again in Brussels. That's how we go. One season to the next. I expect snow in July. So get ready. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you, Sebastian. Good luck with your workshop, which sounds fascinating.
Yeah, so it'll be fun. It's and also thank you to you for. I think we are really, in every single episode we are getting closer to what we want, which is helping people on the spot. And we took a little bit longer, but I think this was incredibly useful, and I'm very happy to continue being helpful in any way that I can. Have a nice weekend and see you next week.
See you all. Bye, guys.
Ciao.
Ciao.